welcome back to OT Talk with Mr. T, the show where we talk how to live occupationally through the lens of an occupational therapist, talking about things near and dear to me, especially in this season 4, things that help me live life more occupationally, more functionally, more properly, more independently. Hopefully it helps you as well. We took a kind of a hiatus, a spring hiatus. I hope you enjoyed your hiatus. We're back now, Blaine Eder, going to the end of the school year, about 2 months or so. Then we'll take our big summer break until we come back, God willing, Blaine Eder, for season 5. Let's talk the love of this, for the love of this, for the love of that. What do we do with our time besides for working, besides for sleeping, besides for eating? What do we do with our time? What do we really love to do? If you could have all the time in the world, not worry about money, not worry about responsibilities, not worry about time, what would you do with that time? What would you do with that ability, with those hours? What would you do? What would you take up with the time that you could have? What is a leisure activity? What is a play activity for you that you love? I don't want to hear that it's TV. TV really kills brain cells on many levels, or even if it doesn't, it's just wasting time, killing time, which is not even an expression I like in general. That's not what we would do if we had all the time in the world. What would you really do? What do you really love? What is a real hobby of yours? What is a real craft that you have? What is a real ability that you have? So some people have different types of hobbies. Some people collect coins. Some people collect stamps. My friend, when I was a kid, his dad collected a lot of stamps. Still don't get the appeal, but for many people, that's what they do. Some people love to read. That's a huge leisure activity. I'm a huge fan of that also. Love reading. Some people love to ride bikes. Some people love to play sports. Some people love to write. Some people love to play guitar. That's me included. We talked about that before. We'll talk about it maybe again, especially Lefty. Making music, creating music. What would you do? What do you love to do? You have to have hobbies in your life, especially as we go through life. Especially as we transition later on in the later years. If a person doesn't work anymore, they fundamentally, from an OT perspective, lose a complete sense of self-identity. They lose a complete sense of self-worth. What am I worth if I'm not working? What am I worth if I'm not in the 9-to-5 grind? If I'm not in the office? If I'm not in the cubicle? What am I contributing? What am I doing with myself, with my time? When a person retires, it is fundamentally, functionally important, especially hugely relevant to what do they do with their time. And a lot of people will sit and mope around, especially if a person was a high-paced attorney, high-paced lawyer, being very busy 9 to 9, and then that job is done. They could lapse into major depression, a major lack of self-worth, a major lack of self-fulfillment, major downward spiraling could happen, God forbid. We have to nip that in the bud way earlier than that. Develop the interests, develop the hobbies, develop the leisures, so that throughout our lives, and once we retire, we should be zoche, we should merit to retire at a good age and have many years of lots of money without having to work. But what would you do with that time? So a simple solution, many people do, many elderly people do, maybe middle-aged adults and active seniors, whatever you want to call it. Volunteer is a beautiful, wonderful thing. There's many options. I remember seeing volunteers all around the hospital in my different rotations, in my own volunteering, my own graduate fieldwork and undergraduate as well. Lots of volunteers there. A lot of volunteers in the library is a wonderful thing to do. Lots of volunteers in the school system, I'm not sure so much how much nowadays as much. Lots of greeters, people in different stores. Lots of things that people can do. Lots of things that can be accomplished, that can be done. A person just has to find what they want to do. If you don't have to worry about how much money you're making, maybe you could contribute yourself to help out in different areas. There are senior centers, senior active adult communities where they try to engage you in different activities, try to give you the occupations, give you the leisure, give you what to do. But it all starts now. What are your hobbies? What do you want to do for yourself? Treat yourself. What would you like to do for yourself? What can you do for yourself to make use of your time, make use of your abilities to contribute for yourself? What do you love to do? Pamper yourself a little bit. Grab a good book and a good cup of hot cocoa, especially in the winter months if you have the fireplace or a digital one on YouTube or whatnot. Sitting there, resting and reading and relaxing. Obviously, don't do that the whole day, the whole week. That's going to be kind of boring. Going to be not using the time the best way, but in general, developing those hobbies. I can't tell you how much amazingness it is to actually play an instrument. Kudos to my mom for pushing me to play many years ago, 10, after my dad passed, trying to find a functional outlet for sublimation, as Freud explains in Defense Mechanisms, how we could take our energy and put them in a proper use, put them in a proper outlet. Someone who's really angry at work, by the way, comes home, kicks the dog, yells at the wife, yells at the kids, probably displacement, another defense mechanism. They're really angry. They're taking out the anger in the wrong way. Instead, go to the gym, hit the track, hit the treadmill, run, do laps in the pool, take that energy, sublimate it elsewhere, pour it into music, pour it into painting, pour it into woodworking, I don't care, but pour it into somewhere that's much more functional, much more appropriate, much more proper for what you need. There has to be hobbies. Many guys, many men, even though it's not that way anymore, but a lot of times you'll see a lot of guys into cars and into woodworking. I'm actually not into either of those, but I might be the exception. And of course, there are many ladies into fashion and the like, into sewing and into arts and crafts, but men could be also, of course, different ways, different things for the love of hobbies. What can you do with your time? What can you do with your leisure? What can you do to make sure that you are using your time in such a way that actually can help out? You have to make sure to have those hobbies, to have those leisures, because outside of work, outside of taking care of your wife and your kids, what can you do to take care of yourself? What can you do to use the time for yourself, to make me time, to make time that I am using for myself? If you love puzzles, great. You love Sudokus, great. Word finds, crossword puzzles, different things, spot the difference, find the hidden items, color by number, color by letter, painting, coloring, drawing, anything you could do to make sure to have those outlets, to have those leisures and hobbies, especially later on in life, to find your identity, to tie your identity to how you can help out in the world, aside from your regular roles and responsibilities of being a spouse or a parent or being a teacher or being an educator or whatever your job is, to make sure you can contribute, because hobbies are so important. It keeps you going. If a person is off in the summer, they look forward to the summer. What do they do for themselves if they're a teacher for the rest of the year? What do I do for myself? Also, my podcasts are not only a passion, but it's a hobby. The podcasts I do, this one, OT, and the one on the Talmud, the one on the Bible portion, the one on the Ethics of the Fathers and the lecture series, all these podcasts I do, I don't just do it because I do it because I love it. It's also a hobby. Put a lot of research into the lecture show, some research into the Bible show, and then I go and I try to think about what to do for the OT show and the Talmud show, and what to do for the Ethics of the Fathers, things that we could do for ourselves. Where could we find the hobbies? Where could we find the leisures? You have the leisures, you have the hobbies, you have the play in your life. Your life will be more fun, your life will be more functional, it'll be more complete, and it'll make sure to keep a sense of identity, keep a sense of fun, especially as we age, especially as we transition to different aspects of our own life. Join me next time as we talk about the love of color in your life and different topics here on OT Talk with Mr. T, and I'm your host, Mr. T.